guys, welcome to The Social Block, the podcast where we explore the intersection between blockchain technology and society. As always, we'll be exploring the way blockchain technology will shape our institutions, our individual lives, our interactions, and even our culture, and hopefully pave the way for a more empowered and equitable society. I'm Maggie, your host, and before we get started today, I have a few things I want to go over from last episodes. First of all, we've reached 100K listeners. That's amazing. I can't believe you guys have doubled just since episode 1, seeing as this is barely episode 4. Wow. Keep listening, keep talking to us, telling us what you want, and I'll just keep making episodes, I guess. Thank you. Secondly, if I look like a couple shades darker, maybe 5 to 10 shades darker, I did go on vacation, which is why this episode is coming out about a week late, but it's going to be a really good episode, so listen in. It's a really interesting topic. It's non-financial mostly, which I'm really excited about. So yeah. Vacation, late episode. Finally, while I was on vacation, I was able to start a TikTok channel for the podcast. So you can now find us on TikTok at social.block, small letters. That's our handle. And I also post some shorts from the TikTok channel in my Twitter with a little more commentary and some really fun anecdotes. So check us out on TikTok for the SparkNotes version of episodes and basically just the highlights, abridged episodes. If you don't have the time to watch a 40 to 60 minute episode, it's a great resource. Also, if you just want to hear some of the good stuff again, and follow me on Twitter at Hristova Magy. It's in the description as always. If you also want some fun anecdotes about stuff from my vacation, I tried to send money abroad, coming back to our episode 2 cross-border transactions, and I had a fit over it, and it was really funny. And you can also email us. So the email is socialblock, no capital letters, no full stops anywhere, just socialblock@nexo.com. For the people who did email because they want to be guests or they have topics, have in mind that my inbox is just super flooded right now. So just follow up if I don't get back to you on time. Otherwise, I will look at them, I promise. Other than that, I think that's everything. So we can start with our episode for today, which is called So You Want to Start a Crypto Reality TV Show. And our guest today is Jett Tang. He's the president of Hourglass Collective and also the executive producer of his TV show, The Next Crypto Gem. So hi, Jett. How are you doing?
Hey, Maggie. Good to be here. Congratulations on your success, and glad to hear you got some great vacation in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, congratulations on your success as well. You're starting a crypto TV show. It's a really big deal. Just to quickly go over something that I kind of missed earlier. It's Jett Tang, right? I'm saying it right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. Yay, I got it right, unlike last time. So why don't you just introduce yourself really quickly? Tell us, who are you? Who do you work for? All those details.
Absolutely. So my name is Jett, and I'm the president of the Hourglass Collective. We are a decentralized crypto community built around the Hourglass Weight token. And I work with the chairman here, Jeff Mahoney, who's the chairman of the Hourglass Collective. He's also a very interesting individual because he's one of the most successful people that I believe have ever come outside the blockchain space into it. I was just an investor in the crypto space since 2016, became part of a small decentralized community called Hourglass. We really wanted to do things to help bring crypto mainstream, get broader adoption, broader acceptance. We feel like the mainstream media doesn't know how to cover crypto. And I worked in mergers and acquisitions for many years. I have a lot of connections with people that are very successful. And I was actually able to get Jeff to be part of our collective and the owner of Neft. And he brought just such a wealth of resources. I mean, he owns so many companies. He owns a TV production company, which is how we were able to do our TV show. And now we're incubating lots of other crypto projects as well that will use our token. So in addition to the Next Crypto Gem TV show, we also have a game called Alpha District, a game in verse, which is being created by some of the best people in AAA gaming who've worked on Star Wars Eclipse, who've worked on Assassin's Creed. And so that's going to be really, really exciting. Clash of Clans, Black Panther, The Mandalorian, really, really top pedigree building that. and we're going to have our token as the exclusive in-game currency there. And we also
no way.
Yeah. And
the weight token. Okay.
Yes, we're working closely with Brian Evans on that. Brian D. Evans, who's actually also one of the judges on our TV shows, and he's one of our senior advisors, one of the best people in crypto that I talk to every day and work with. And I think he was recently named on a Forbes list of the top 40 people in crypto to watch. And
so you've got some big names.
Yes.
Like you're just starting with strong.
Yeah. It's really exciting. Our first project for the Hourglass Collective was the TV show, when we wanted to do something for all of crypto, not just us. And so the whole genesis of this is that I've always felt that when you hear about crypto on news, like when you go to, Yahoo News and you hear about crypto, you're always hearing about the scandals, the negativity, the rugs.
Tell me about it. I'm in crypto PR.
You know how that is,
I'm right? A PR manager. For me, it's just kind of like, stop.
Yeah. And the reality is that side does exist, but who's telling the positive side? Who's telling about the great people like me and you, the people that just want blockchain to make all of our lives better and that just think it's an innovative technology, just like the internet was in the late 1990s and early 2000s, and should be worked on and built upon, right? And so that's what we wanted to do with the TV show. We wanted to we want to show what the people in crypto are really about, the pioneers, the people that are building, but we also wanted to make it entertaining for people outside the space. So that's why we created this format, and it's kind of like a mix between Shark Tank and The Apprentice.
Yeah, what is the concept? Like, what is the concept of the show? Because I read that it was a mix between Shark Tank and The Apprentice, but I wasn't really able to marry them very clearly. And I read one article about the new crypto gem on CoinDesk, but I couldn't quite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the concept?
So the way that it works is that, we had a call for contestants, and then we first narrow it down to 16 projects, have their kind of go through a pitch, right? And then the judges, who are Brian D. Evans, George of Cryptos Are Us, and Leah Halpern, they kind of narrow it down to 4 projects that will make it to our live LA taping, which was like a week of intensive taping. And then those 4 projects go through a series of challenges that are kind of similar to the Apprentice challenges. And then the winner is, the whole goal is to be the last one standing, which is named the next crypto gem. And then
So you have, I wanted to ask whether there would be an elimination process. There clearly is, because one of my big childhood things is, if you've ever seen The Weakest Link. So I guess you're the antithesis to The Weakest Link, because my idea of the ultimate rejection is Anne Robinson from The Weakest Link being like, you really are the weakest link. And it's Jane Lynch doing it. Yeah, it's Jane Lynch on the revival, and Jane Lynch is scathing. Anyone who's ever seen her on Glee as Sue Sylvester would know that. She's scathing. So you do have an elimination process. So it's 4 contestants from the start. Yes. They're going through challenges, and they get eliminated along the way.
They do get eliminated on the way. It's not right away, because we want to get a good look at them. But eventually there are eliminations, and then eventually there's 3, and then 2, and then there's only 1 that can be the next crypto gem, and then they get a prize package worth over 150,000, and the bragging rights of being the winner of the first crypto competitive reality show on mainstream TV. So it came out.
One thing I really like, I think you kind of touched on it already, but I wanted to talk about why Hourglass decided to start a TV show. And you kind of already touched upon it, that you want to do something for crypto. But I guess it's connected to adoption and audiences. So how do you think the new crypto gem is going to attract people who aren't already into crypto as an audience? In terms of there have been a couple other crypto reality TV shows that I read that are supposedly launching. One of them was, I think, Crepopolis or something like that. And then the other one, I'm looking through my notes, I'm trying to find it. It was the Killer Whale by CoinMarketCap or something like that. So how is your audience going to be different? And how is it going to be more mainstream? Because I don't really think those really broke any
fantastic question.
They didn't really pave any path. No one's heard of them.
Understood completely. So this is the difference, or this is what we did. I mean, I can't speak on what everyone else did, but our show is highly catered to people that don't know anything about crypto at all. So every aspect of the writing is built upon being entertaining to people who are in crypto like us, right? But then also teaching people and educating them that don't know anything. So I think the best example that I would give you is that when you're watching other reality shows that are created really well, like one's about forging swords, one's about, is this cake or is this not cake? One's about survival. You may not know anything at the time when you first start watching about how to survive, about whether something is cake or whether it's not cake, or whether something about sword forging. But they do a really good job of teaching you along the way. And then what happens is that you get into the drama, you get into the people, you get into personalities, and then learning that topic. I've seen people, I love survival shows. So I've seen every aspect of how to make a fire. You can friction fire, you can use all these other ways. You have to have the ember, you have to blow on it, and I know that because I've just watched so many shows, but originally I didn't know anything.
That's like me with cake making. Like I'm the same with all of the cake shows, all of the baking shows. I've seen every single one. I know like 1,000 different ways to decorate with like whatever different flavors. And I like baking. One of these days I might bring a cake.
Nice.
I get it. And like I've learned so much like mostly watching people fail. I empathize so much. They just hit me in the gut. I'm just like, oh no, she's crying. It melted.
Yeah. And in fact, some of the human drama is that. And some of the best moments, sometimes you see the best character and you have the most empathy with people when things don't go their way. And that actually happens in our show in some really, really interesting ways. But yeah, I think that's the key. The key is that we could have gone about this two ways. One is that, hey, crypto people, this is our show. And then if you don't get our terminology, then you just don't get it, right? We went the opposite way. We're like, look, this is about crypto. You may know, if you know nothing about crypto, that's okay. We're going to teach you along the way. And
Here's the thing. So let's get a little bit more into detail, I guess, because I think that's where we're going anyway. You said we'll teach you anyway. And I get the sense that the educational element is extremely important to you. I wholeheartedly support that because I don't really think many people really understand crypto or get it. So how much of an emphasis is the educational element going to have in the new crypto gem? How is that going to go down within the challenges? Like, can you give us some details, like a sneak peek?
I will. I'll give you one mini spoiler, and then I'll give you a broader example of what's done throughout the show. So the mini spoiler is that one of the first challenges on the show is that we say that, look, we understand that you're here to tout your project, but we believe that the leader of a good project should be able to explain basic crypto terms to people that don't know anything about crypto. And then we bring in a bunch of people who are the last people you would ever expect to understand crypto.
Wait, how do you select them?
They went through a casting process and signed the,
It's like, okay,
we have
Johnny from production's grandma. She's 96, doesn't know anything about. You're perfect, madam. Signed.
Yeah, they were vetted, so right. we didn't have any pretenders. People who actually knew a lot about crypto.
Yeah,
pretending. And then they basically went through a challenge of having to teach them basic blockchain terms, and it was quite entertaining. So that was one of the first challenges, and that's that. So you could see that we kind of immediately did something catering to mainstream, right? And then the second thing is that throughout the whole series, we have something that we called, in terms of internally in production, the Big Short moments, because I don't know if you saw the movie The Big Short. There's all these moments where
I do not, yeah.
Okay, where like the person looks straight into the camera and says that, oh, by the way, if you don't know what Ethereum is, that's how we did it, right? So we explained all these basic crypto terms using these Big Short moments, and the judges did a great job on that. They're entertaining, they're little bits, and so we try to basically teach as we go. And then also the judges, a third thing is that they emphasized to the contestants, you have to be able to explain things in a way that regular people can understand. So that was kind of an ongoing theme throughout the show. So I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, this is our first season. It wasn't perfect. I was recently watching the American Gladiators documentary on Netflix. It was really, really good. And it was kind of like, I felt a lot of empathy with them, because their first season, they had things that went great. And then there were also things that they were like not perfect. And then they made adjustments and got better and better and better. And that's what we want to do too. So for season 2 and season 3, I know that we're going to be even better, but I think that we did a very solid job in season 1 in making it entertaining and making it educational at the same time. And I think that one of the things that you asked me why TV is, I think it's very important that it's also entertaining, because that's how you bring in people. I don't think you can bring in the mainstream by saying, hey, read this 80-page technical white paper on crypto.
I have a commentary on that. Yeah, exactly. And I have like a really good comment. I was talking to my sister earlier today, and I was kind of telling her about the episode and about what I'd researched, because I looked up as like, what movies talk about crypto and like specifically are about crypto, and all of them were documentaries. And this happened really ironically while we were watching Kunk on Earth, which, as you know, is like the most brutal mockumentary ever. I love it. Yeah, she's amazing. Brilliant. It's really witty, but we were watching it and I was like, you know what the problem is with all of these, actually, because I was looking at this mockumentary and I was like, nobody takes documentaries seriously anymore. First of all, they involve, like, if you make a documentary about something, that already involves like a certain level of interest. You have to go looking for it and be interested enough to go through like at least an hour of a film about it. And second of all, I think like documentaries, when I was a little kid, people used to take them seriously and watch them a lot. Whereas now with Ancient Aliens, no shade on that, like it's funny, I love it, but still, like with all of these documentaries that are a little bit sketchy and just not serious, or mockumentaries, or like things that pertain to the existence of mermaids and dragons. And they're really cool to watch, but I think the credibility of the documentary genre has been destroyed for our generation. And that's the problem with like films about crypto and like TV about crypto, that the ones that are uniquely focused on crypto and don't necessarily kind of low-key trash it, because I have like a commentary on that as well, which is happening in like some films, but we'll get to that later. Like I looked at a few examples, actually. I have a couple. Let me just scroll down. I wrote them down and I can't find them now, of course. There was a Netflix explained the cryptocurrency from 2018. There was Bitcoin, the end of money as we know it, you know, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Like there was a film called Crypto. They're not bad. The problem, I have a problem with like the genre, and like it's like, yeah, it makes sense to make a documentary to educate people, but like I just feel like our generation, like the genre has been destroyed. You need to make it entertaining. You need to make it fun for the people who aren't already into it to like garner an interest. And that you have it, I think, really right with like the human emotion and like the drama, because that can get, you know, your Aunt Matilda interested in it. Aunt Matilda, she cares about the drama. She doesn't really care about the crypto. Yeah.
But then you learn about the crypto while you're getting involved with the drama.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
You settle down about it, because people, especially like I think like the older generation that are like maybe middle-aged and above, they have a little bit of like antagonism towards crypto sometimes, and it makes me a bit uncomfortable. It's just kind of like this. They just don't like it because they don't get it. So if you're educating them and then you're giving them the entertaining factor, I think there's a chance it might actually break through. What about distribution?
Yeah. And I think also,
where are you distributing? Like, how are you going to reach this audience?
Absolutely. Well, we have very, very wide distribution. We have a non-exclusive broad distribution deal, and we work with Insight TV. And they have us on over close to 200 platforms, along with our production partner, Bespoke TV. So we're going to be on Amazon Prime. We're going to be on Samsung TV, Pluto, LG, Vizio. In the United States, we have a primetime slot on DirecTV. We have a, if you go to the nextcryptogem.com, there's a where to watch list, and then we have a full where to watch list. We're also on cable satellite, so it's very, very broad. Yeah, we're pretty. It won't be hard to find the show, and obviously, like on our Twitter, we'll be giving information all the time as to the the different options.
Yeah, I like that you said cable satellite as well, because something that I was thinking about on-demand TV and streaming channels is like the biggest problem with them, and like the thing, Netflix is documentary per se, because it's easy. Everyone has Netflix, right? But you have to go and find it and put it on yourself. Like, what's going to stop someone, like a young person who, is vaguely interested in crypto, documentary about crypto, Bridgerton? I don't know. Like, if I just want to have my dinner, what am I going to click? It just, there's too much temptation on streaming platforms. Whereas with cable and satellite, you might get people who just like have the TV on, and like you have a bigger chance of just kind of randomly finding people. And I think that's not to be underestimated at all. We kind of roll our eyes at it, but it might be a good tool.
No, you're 100% right. And that's why we purposely didn't want distribution where it's like, you can only get it if you go seek it out. A lot of our distribution is on platforms like Insight TV. They have 8 channels, and they have most of their shows. They've only done one show on crypto, but they cater to Gen Z, and then they have shows about cooking, about sports, about breakdancing, and they do about 90 million views a month alone on their channels. And we're just going to be mixed in there, and you could be watching something else on Insight about breakdancing, and then next crypto gem comes on. And same thing with DirecTV. You could just be flipping through the channels on DirecTV, and then next crypto gem comes on. So I totally agree with you. I think it's important to just be out there and have people find the show, be able to have the people find the show by chance. And we've set ourselves up really good for that, as well as being able to do it the other way. And we're on demand also through Distro TV and other platforms. So it's 4 ways better.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think you need both, because there's a difference in generations and just kind of the causality of things. I have a production question. Since you're the executive producer, I think this is perfect, because I was wondering like what production was like. Did you get a lot of pushback from skeptics? Did you have this like whole problem with like, people wanting scandal and basically crypto projects that are doomed to fail, and like this kind of whole like let's give them like the bad side and like some really saucy things to like basically cringe at? So that's my first question about production. And then the second one was kind of like how you found funding, like who's funding it, because I'm assuming it's like something through Hourglass, and I was wondering whether it's in any way associated with the weight token, whether it was like decentralized, crowd-funded or anything. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, so I'll answer both of those questions. Let's talk about the ownership first. So in terms of the funding, the show was funded by myself and Jeff Mahoney, the billionaire. So we completely funded the show. The Hourglass token is 100% circulating, and our whole kind of philosophy is that we don't want to have any sort of dilution that is from having like uncirculating supply or anything like that, or put stress on the token holders. So it was pretty much something that we knew that we could do, that we could, it would be both profitable and it would be good for promoting Hourglass. We didn't want to do token integration into the first season of the show because we didn't want to complicate distribution, and it was already enough to be the first mainstream crypto TV show. And in the show, we talk about Hourglass, and that Hourglass is involved. There's commercials running and everything. We didn't want to also complicate things by having a complicated process where like contestants or something had to use the token. We are going to do something for season 2 and beyond with that. And then all of our other incubated projects have a direct token integration. So this one was kind of more of a promotional and marketing type integration, you could say. So that was what we did with in terms of the back end. Your other question was production. That's actually a great question. And what's interesting is that see, so Jeff and the Neft Entertainment, Neft Brands, they have ownership in a company called Bespoke TV, and they're great at making TV shows. They've made many TV shows. And one of them that they're doing is they're just to give you an idea of some of their other shows, is that one of them is called Street Ball. They put together all the best street ballers in the world to go from city to city to compete with the local legends of street ball. So that one's really cool. Another one they did is called Reality of Love, and they have a lot of famous um, people from other reality shows on that one. And so they really know how to make great shows, but they didn't know anything about crypto. And so it was a very, very interesting process with like wording. Like I was part of the writer's room and I was working with people that didn't know anything about our industry, but knew how to make great TV. And I think that originally they really, I mean, to be really honest with you, I think a lot of people in production had a lot of negative stereotypes about our space. I'm not lie to you. Yeah.
No way. They all do. Like that's what I was asking, because I was sure this would come. Like
there were times
I was 100% sure it came up somewhere.
They just wanted to portray things in a very caricature way, and we had it to kind of push back and compromise. And I think what's funny,
because that's not healthy for the crypto space, to kind of caricaturize us.
Exactly.
It's not healthy,
Luckily, I mean, as a executive producer, I was able to pretty much nip it in the bud pretty fast. And the great thing is that through the process, I think in the beginning, the production people and the crypto people were like these completely segregated tribes that just the crypto people all talk together and the production people all talk together, and they didn't mix it all. And then slowly, like day 2, they started talking a little bit. And then by the end, like everyone's best friends. And then the production people are asking the crypto people like how to set up their wallets, what they should be buying, how to, if they need to put their crypto in cold storage. And so it was like a bridge was built during that time when you put people together. And then I think that they really realized that the people in crypto are not these terrible, shady scammers that you might think if you just read articles about SBF and Do Kwon, And so, so if you think about our whole production, it's just a microcosm of what could happen with the TV show when it reaches, hundreds of millions of homes. I mean, I feel like we can do something good. And I was actually, I think that when we do season 2, especially if we have some of the same production people, it'll be easier because now they know a lot more about it.
Wait, I really want to ask, like, what was the worst stereotype or caricature idea, like the worst thing the production people are trying to push in the beginning before they kind of meshed? Like, do you have a good example of how bad it could have been?
I do. Funny because we agreed to kind of like just go with it as a joke. But so basically one of the funny things is that we wanted to have something where like when you're eliminated or you're punished, you like go somewhere, right? So they like the writers wrote into it, like if you get punished or something, you go back to mom's basement.
Oh.
I was like,
it's funny.
Guys, some of our, I was like, guys, some of our contestants are like multimillionaires, former investment bankers, like incredibly successful people. And you're like portraying them as like these dorks that go to, and then so, the funny thing is that in that one, like at the end of the day, we decided to I was like, okay, fine, you can do it, but it has to be like a joke and tongue in cheek, and so that's just one example of kind of the way that the outside crypto production people think of us versus how we think of ourselves. And me looking at some of these project leaders, it's like, you may have $1 billion market cap project down the road, I was like, kind of like, I was like, look, I'm really sorry about this, but it is kind of corny. But like, I fought all these little battles. I was like, I'm not going to just force that I'm 10 out of 10. I'm going to give them this one. And then they're like, hey, look, Mom's Basement could be anything. They go, season 2, Mom's Basement could be like the most pimp basement in America or something, with all these smart devices enabled and, and jacuzzi down there and everything.
So we're also breaking the myth of Mom's Basement.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and it is kind of a little bit of, I think it's like, it's a little bit of a shout out of it's how the other people are. You want to basically understand how other people perceive crypto, so then you can transcend it. So
yeah, exactly. So I kind of wanted to ask, you said that you didn't want to involve the weight token in any way, and like the production and the financing and the ownership. I love talking about ownership. That was like our first episode ever on the Social Block. You didn't want to involve it in season 1. And I kind of get it because it can get very convoluted, especially with distribution. But do you see that happening at all in the future? Like having the reality TV show ever be kind of owned by token holders, I guess?
Yeah. We've talked about a lot of different things that we're going to do in that aspect, and we haven't fully decided how we're going to do it for season 2. But one of the things that we're going to do is that we're like a portion of the revenue is going to go back into the community in some way. So we're going to do that, and then what we might do is that we might have the token as kind of a fan token in a way, where people that have the token and that can have some voting rights on some aspects of the show. So like there may be some decision making where kind of the token holders are almost like an extra producer that can give feedback as to what
just
happens.
Governance. Yes. Why not governance?
Exactly.
Yeah, because you could have, with like American Idol and stuff where they could you could vote people off with like a text message. You could do that with like token holders and stuff, like, because that way the community can decide what project is most relevant to them that's, being pitched. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, we have to be careful.
So many ways you could spin this.
We don't want to make it where you can like pay to win. So like we can't for the kind of decisions where it's like the more money that is spent on this, the more likely this outcome is, right? So we're going to be very, very careful about how it's done. But there are definitely certain decisions that could be made by token holders that we're looking at. So we're looking at that, and we also have a really exciting partner lined up that we can't reveal yet. But I'm talking to someone who is building this whole platform out that's connecting Hollywood and blockchain, a very, very successful existing Hollywood producer. And I think that what we're going to do for season 2 beyond is be integrated with the platform and the token and everything else. So we're going to be working together with this person on that. And so season 2 and beyond will be much more Web3-ish, whereas season 1 is a Web3 themed show that is for mainstream distribution. And we'll still have the mainstream distribution for season 2 and beyond. Don't get me wrong, because like you said, that we need that to get the eyeballs, including the old-fashioned way, the cable and satellite. That's how you get the grandparents and everything, and random channel switches.
You mentioned Hollywood, and I have like a lot of a bit of mixed feelings with Hollywood and crypto, because a while ago, me and my colleague Stella, we were working on branding for like Nexo, and we were talking to a lot of like branding agencies in Hollywood for films, and all of these big Hollywood productions, like we're talking really the blockbuster films. It was very difficult for us to get our foot in the door with a mention that's not positive. Like we could obviously have paid a lot of money to have like Nexo just literally everywhere, plastered across the film on billboards and people's t-shirts and phones. But we wanted like a quality integration. Like we wanted it to be integrated with the plot. And we didn't necessarily mind if like, say, the villain was going to use our app or something, but we didn't want it to be associated with anything like money laundering or something like that, because that just sends the wrong message about the company we are. And we really struggled. Like we weren't actually able to, in the end, get a branding deal, a sponsorship deal with a Hollywood film, because it was that difficult. And then at the same time, I'm looking at films like, I was watching The Hustle. I don't know if you've seen it. It's with Rebel Wilson and Anne Hathaway. And Rebel Wilson is this kind of like, I guess like minor thief, but she has like plenty of money. And the more posh professional thief Anne Hathaway is like, asks her like what she's holding her, I think it was like 75 million, I don't know, 70, I don't know, some in, and it's like, and that's just held in cash, and she's just kind of like Bitcoin. And it was a very funny scene and everything, but I just felt like even little mentions of crypto like that in Hollywood are a little bit derogatory, because it's like, yeah, like Rebel Wilson is like comedy actress, her whole like role in that film is like a little bit funny, a little bit goofy, a little bit like, yeah, maybe it's smart to keep your money in Bitcoin, but she certainly like isn't doing it intentionally. And that really bothered me. I was just kind of like, come on, like, you're completely ruining what this could be. And then there was this other film with I think it was Luke Hemsworth, Alexis Bledel. It was crypto in 2019. And it was, again, like, it was about like, I don't know. I felt like it wasn't necessarily very positive. It was about this young banker who's following, like, I think a crime trail or something. And I'm just like, just why is it so difficult with Hollywood, do you think? Like, why are they kind of, is it the old money in Hollywood pushing back against crypto?
It's the same reason why it took so many years for there to not be negative stereotypes about everything else where they portrayed negatively, you know? And the good news is that I know some of the very, very best people that are trying to change that, and people that have already succeeded in Hollywood that that also love the Web3 space and that want to have positive mentions. So actually, I can't reveal this publicly, but we could talk offline after. And if I know in terms of getting positive placements on major feature films, I know if you're interested in that, it can, you know, connect you to some people on that. So I would say that I know what you're saying. I understand. And we're still in the early days. We have to understand that. And then I think the other thing that we do have to realize is that we're clearly, the crypto space isn't all as negative as the mainstream media makes it sound, but there are also a lot of negative things that legitimately have happened, you know? And so it's like, it's an evolution. I think as we get to the point where blockchain and Web3 become more part of people's everyday lives, then this will all change. But it's probably going to take another cycle, or hopefully another cycle, maybe two, for us to get to that point. And then we will get to the point where I believe in TV and film, it will, you know, blockchain will not be kind of the butt of jokes, kind of like that
stigmatized.
Yeah.
So what about like culture? How does the new crypto gem like portray crypto culture? Because I feel like a lot of people think that blockchain is just crypto and it's just finance, and, you know, it's just a bunch of geeks that want to trade, but it's so much more than that. It's like a whole culture. It's a culture of urgency, of 24/7 liveness, like something's always going on. It's a culture that communicates in tweets and Reddit threads, a culture that literally takes language and then molds it to fit its needs, creating all these weird acronyms. It's like almost like crypto has its own crypto speak, and it's the culture of the underdog, the culture of the penny stock. I mean, like I don't think like GameStop stocks would have exploded the way they had if the crypto bull market hadn't been there and all of these investors hadn't just basically gone into a whole uprising, because I think that's what happens. So I think like crypto is so much more. It's like the culture of the developer, of sometimes even the gamer, of the little person. And how does the next crypto, the new crypto gem? I got it wrong. Oh my God. No. How does it like show that culture? In what ways do you think it comes out?
Well, I think it comes out through the people and the projects that made it. So Leia, George, and Brian, they're the three judges, so they get a lot of screen time. And I think that you couldn't really have better representation for our space as a whole, because they're so diverse and different. So Brian comes from the standpoint where he's an entrepreneur and investor. He's been in over 300 Web3 investments and he's an early stage VC angel investor, very, very knowledgeable in the space, very polished individual. George of the Cryptos Are Us channel, he's a very popular YouTuber, and he's looked at hundreds and hundreds of altcoins, and he's pretty friendly with the altcoin space. And then Leia is kind of a little bit more of a Bitcoin maxi, so she's very skeptical about other projects being able to kind of even provide value in the space, which is kind of good, because you don't want all three judges all thinking starting from the same kind of initial paradigm. So they're all coming from a different space. And then the contestants are clearly, as you mentioned, they're kind of mavericks and they're pioneers. And I think that really comes out with their personalities and how they describe their communities and how they got to the point of where they were in their individual stories. I think that the packages where we talk about their history, their home life, their, you know, how they got to where they are, that's where you kind of get a kind of a real taste of what it's like to be in the space and the culture. And so there's little bits of all of that in addition to all the drama and the who's going to win and the education as well.
I have like another kind of thing that I wanted to throw in about like TV shows. So I didn't really find any kind of popular TV shows, but I just wanted to throw a really cool concept that I came through. Like I came by it. I was kind of on IMDb looking for crypto TV shows. This is really unrelated to what you were just saying. It just popped into my mind because I had a really weirdly interesting research session. And there was this Indian miniseries. I know this already sounds just great. It was called Date with and then there was ellipses. And the episodes were like date with a Dogecoin investor, date with a Luna investor, date with a blockchain dev. And I was just kind of like, this is like a TLC show for crypto. It's the only difference is that it's Indian. So it's not notorious or anything, but I came across it. So do you kind of foresee a lot of crypto TV shows coming out like this one? Because I mean, I don't really know if like I would personally catch myself watching that a lot, but I definitely laughed my ass off looking at the little episodes. And I thought it was like, this is a concept that would like, I can totally see it on the TLC channel right after Say Yes to the Dress. So do you like think that that's gonna happen a lot? And like, do you see yourself producing more concepts like this for TV series?
100%. And in fact, as we speak right now, we're actually in talks of a dramatic feature film, being involved in a dramatic feature film, which I mean, we're talking about a budget probably 40 to 50 times the first season of Next Crypto Gem. So we have a lot of things kind of going on behind the scenes. Obviously, we want to have season 2 bigger and better. And I think that idea of other crypto shows and other angles, that absolutely we want to do that. In terms of the exact timeline, I don't know, but it's kind of funny because actually, as we speak, the production company that we work with that made the Next Crypto Gem, they're doing a dating show also. They're in pre-production right now. And
I'm late to the party as usual.
Yeah. And they're also doing a show about Nef Vodka throws a lot of humongous epic events that are really posh, bring in influencers, tech CEOs. They just did one at Donna Karen's penthouse in New York City. There were like hundreds of people waiting online trying to get in. Some of the most top billionaires were there. And so they want to do, they're going to do a show about those events and how they're put together and the people there, because it's so interesting. And hopefully we'll be able to get Hourglass involved in that as well, since we're part of the whole family there. And so, yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be more shows. And as I mentioned, we're working with a partner that is already very connected in Hollywood, has worked with some of the top A-list actors and done, big budget productions, and wants to really bring Web3 to the forefront. And it's going to be really exciting the next few years, seeing what we could do.
That's really cool. I think it's kind of like a light in the tunnel in a very weird like direction of pushing crypto mainstream, because I can't wait till that happens. And I'm not like this weird person. I'm not a geek, but everyone calls me a geek just because it's crypto. It's not fair. But so before we kind of go off camera and I ask you to send me like a promo pack of Neft and then we can talk about like Nexo's branding in Hollywood a little bit more. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything more you want to share about the show that's important that we haven't talked about? And like remind us when and where we can watch it.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that the show is just only 9 days away from the world premiere. September 7th will be episode 1. It will run once a week for 7 consecutive weeks. Prime time will also be available on video on demand. The best way to get information about us is just you can go to our website, hourglassx.com. You can go to our Twitter at hourglass_WAIT. And you can see all our latest updates there. And there's also a link to a link tree that has everything, including all the platforms it will be on. Check out our Twitter, check out our Telegram. We have a really, really friendly community that some of the people, it's kind of funny because when we first said we were going to do a show, it was I think it was like October of last year, there was a lot of skepticism. I was at a convention during Art Basel that Decentral hosted, I think in November of last year. And we were just saying, we're going to do this TV show, the next Crypto Jam. And people were walking by like, is this a scam? Are you serious? This is never going to happen. A lot of people were very, very skeptical. And then when we announced who the judges would be and they shared the news that they are going to be judges, people got a little less skeptical. And then when we actually had everyone in production and they saw that we had a good set and we were shooting everything with like 6 red cameras and that, had very good equipment and everything, then I think people really said that, okay, this is going to be a real thing. So a lot of our community has been there from the beginning. They're the people that always believed in it from the very beginning and knew that we were going to follow through based on having people like Jeff and Neft involved and, having the backing. And they're really friendly people and they welcome anyone in who's interested in, this space. And so we welcome you to be part of the story. I think the story is just beginning. Some people think that this first season is like kind of going to be the ultimate culmination of everything we've done with the Hourglass Collective. It's not that at all. In fact, that out of all our incubated projects, this is probably the lowest budget of them. But it's the very, very beginning. And then we're going to just keep on building and building and building more seasons, more projects. And this is our first proof of concept that we can get crypto on mainstream TV globally. And we welcome anyone who wants to be part of the story to join us and, be part of the club.
Well, awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Jett. Guys, let's all tune in on September 7th. Let's be good and supportive and let's all watch is it the next Crypto Jam or the new Crypto Jam? I keep forgetting.
Next Crypto Jam.
The next Crypto Jam. Okay, well, that was our episode for today. And remember to follow us on TikTok. I will post like kind of the abridged version of this episode. I think it's been really entertaining and I have a lot of gems to share with you guys. So I'll be sharing it. This episode is going to be live a couple days before the premiere. So yeah, let's all watch.
Cheers.